Click, clack, charts attack, candlesticks, they spark the track. Lead move silent, market crack, profit stack, no turning back. Opening range, that's the game. Breakout hits, never the same. Algorithms play, but he rewires the frame. Banks whisper his name. Flipping forex, indices flex, numbers dance. What's coming next? Green lights flash, P&L stretch. Risk managed, he never sweats. West fact buzz and traders peep. Lessons deep, no time to sleep. Market's a beast, Lee's got the leash. Feast at the feast, his game's elite. Market structures his domain. Leads the king, they know his name. Breakout sharp, he fuels the flame. Trading charts is not a game. Pip by pip, he stacking high. Mean reversion, banks comply. Leads the reason markets run. Leads the reason markets run. Candles lit, wicks on fire, spread so tight the stakes get higher. Institutional flow, he's the supplier. Positions held till charts retire. Data feeds, news he reads, Fibonacci maps the seeds. Supply demand his mind exceeds. Trades ignite like lightning speed. Stop loss tight, take profit wide. Leads precision, unmatched drive. Liquidity pools, banks coincide. Retail's blind, leads the guide. Charts unfold, the stories told. Entry bold, accounts in gold. Trade by trade, the wins are sold. Market alchemy legends mode. Whoa, 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 whoa. Markets run. Lead the reason markets run. Lead the reason markets run.
Digital sheen, open in range, his weapon so keen. He's the structured trader, a market machine. Bank moves, he mimics, he plays their game. Near reversion, glory is his claim to fame. Market structure king, watch him do his thing. Pips and points, the profit. Trading like the banks, he's in control. Leads the master filling his bankroll. Leads the master filling his bankroll. His mind's a map of supply and demand, turning charts to gold with a steady hand. Forex flows like rivers in his plan. Bases bow to the market man. Break out at the open, the strategy's tight. Position for the swing, he wins the fight. Risk is measured, the balance precise. Leads on the rise, he rolls the market structure king. Watch him do his thing. Pips and points, the profits.
Good morning. How are we all doing? Put my light on. How are we all doing today? Happy Monday. Morning, Baggy. Morning, Road. How are we doing? It's Monday morning. Lots of news this week. We'll go through all of that usual stuff and see what's coming up. Morning, Franco. So markets just opened. DAX is obviously waking up. So we'll see where we go this morning. Very good week last week. Just trying to find my pen. Yeah, really big day on Friday, which is unusual. Normally Fridays are slightly hit and miss, but yeah, big day on Friday. Everything just worked on Friday. DAX, super clean break, 150 ADR. TP1 and TP2 hit. The Dow was very simple as well. The Dow was one we didn't get the trade on Friday. NASDAQ, really easy. I got out far too early on this. It was Friday. I just wanted to be done with it, but it did break up. Smashed straight through the initial support identified, the secondary support we bounced at, and then pushed through that as well. So you could have had loads more. It could have been a much bigger day, actually. Gold was a nice clean upside break as well. Ignore the lines there, but that one was nice and clean. TP1, TP2 at previous resistance, where I put my TP. So yeah, very nice and easy week last week. So today we've got obviously CPI for the Canadian dollar. We'll have a quick look at the news while we're waiting for that candle to go in. Not particularly big this morning. Might not get a trade on the 5-minute this morning. It's a bit tight, isn't it? So this week we've got quite a lot of news potentially. Now this shutdown in the US obviously seems to be sorted and seems like we're going to get news starting to come out, hopefully. So we'll see where we go this week. News is going to be all over the place for the next few weeks because obviously we've had a massive delay where we haven't had CPI numbers released and unemployment rates and all that sort of stuff. So it's all kind of out of sync. So this afternoon, we've got CPI for the Canadian at 130, forecast CPI to go up, which is obviously bullish for interest rates. So we'll see how we get on with that. That's pretty much your only main news today. We've had the CPI regularly for the CAD not affected. So that's probably, that could go either way, but I would suspect it's going to be sort of spiky, but not really going anywhere on that one. Nothing much tomorrow, monetary policy wise at all. So we've got the meeting from Australia, but that won't do much. Wednesday, we go into the wage price index. We've got CPI for the pound coming out. That's forecast to fall. Again, that should drop interest rates, assuming we get that forecast. So that should be good. So hopefully we'll get some decent movement to the downside on the pound. FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday as well. That is not the interest rate decision. That's just the meeting minutes. So don't really tend to get a lot of new movement off of that. Non-farm. So this is where we get confusing now with what the hell is going to be going on from now onwards. So we've got non-farm employment change forecast to come out on Thursday. Normally that would come out on a Wednesday, and obviously we would have had that by now. They're also releasing the unemployment rate at 1:30. We've got the average hourly earnings and unemployment claims also meant to be coming out. So Thursday, we should be getting a big amount of news coming out from the US. So all the data we've been waiting for sort of 6 weeks or so that we've not had any of, all lands basically on one day. So that day there on the US dollar could be a huge day. So we'll have to wait and see. But if you've got any US dollar exposure on, be very careful, especially if you're trading indices. Obviously, they come out, open up an hour after that. Going to get some big moves. Friday, we've got loads of news as well. We've got retail sales for the pound in the morning. Retail sales does move the pound quite a lot. We've then got the PMI day. So we've got all the euro PMIs coming out. We've got the pound PMI coming out. CAD retail also coming out. Then we've got the US PMI figures coming out on Friday afternoon. Now, these are coming out 15 minutes after market open. So again, odd, just not normal, basically, for the US at the moment. So it's a big news week this week, but all sort of pushed towards the end of the week. So we'll see where we go. There's nothing much to look at on forex today. There's no RSI extensions at all. Everything's sort of playing out that we had extended. There's no ADRs today, obviously no weeklies. We've got a couple of monthlies, mainly obviously silver and gold have already done their monthlies. Aussie New Zealand's already done its monthly, but that's because we're on that pullback. So beautiful reversal kick-started on Friday. We had that rejection on Thursday. We looked at that symmetrical triangle break that failed and off we go. So I would imagine we get some more downside on that. Potentially, I mean, this thing could come down an awful long way, couldn't it? With that ATR on there. So, I mean, origin of this move really is all the way back down here in June. It really sort of kicked off July, and then August we had that news coming in where we just didn't look back. Then we had that secondary negative news for the New Zealand. And that's what we're undoing. So where we're going to undo from here, difficult. 200 moving average is going to be somewhere around about that propulsion gap by the time we get there. Your 72 is going to be somewhere around last month's low. So I think that's pretty easy to achieve, but it could go further than that. So we'll see. But yeah, interesting week this week, news-wise. Let's see where we go. So first 5-minute range, very tight on the DAX today. No trade, very light volume today. There's not a lot of movement at all. DAX, obviously, we are stuck. Let's look at it on the other platform. Got more data I can look at. So DAX, we're obviously stuck in this range at the moment, which we have been now for 6 months. Well, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 6 months-ish, basically. So DAX is just absolutely stuck at the minute. So we're stuck inside this range, which we've been in now for an absolute age. And it does seem to be like it's contracting as well. So we are ever so slightly contracting this range. It's going to pop at some point. And obviously the forecast is to go into a bear market in the US, which would suggest we pop back down to the downside. But where you go, I don't know. In April, going back to April, where we had the big drop off, you know, there's potential for it to come all the way back down and do a retracement on a percentage of this, which is a long way. We've got this little gap fill here as well, which never got filled, but I think it's done and dusted now. But anyway, we'll see. So this is really, really stuck, really stalled out, this DAX, and it's in a very, very tight range. So it's very difficult to call where this is going this week. We could push up and assume that we are still going to continue contracting, or it could start to break down with the other US indices. And if it starts to break down, obviously it's going to break down quite hard and quite heavy. So we're looking at all of these US indices basically starting this potential reversal back to the downside and starting to go into a bear market for however long. Bear markets typically last somewhere around about 2 to 3 months. Occasionally we get a big one, very rarely. But this would, as you can see, be month one. So obviously we've been bullish, just about bullish. This is going to be your first bear month, potentially going in November, which would lead into December being a bear month. But often we get that Santa rally. So very, very difficult to call any direction on anything at the minute. Right. Let's see. We're not going to get a 10-minute range either. No volume today. Not tradable, really. Morning, everybody else. Morning, Andrew, Marco, Lockley. How are we doing? So this morning, for members, we are finishing off the Bootcamp today. So it's last lesson in Bootcamp today, aggressive drawdown control. So this is what we're going to be covering today. Just looking at aggressive drawdown control, where to do it, how to do it, how not to do it. And yeah, basically just having a look at aggressive drawdown control and how to use it, which ties in with obviously what we covered with the standard drawdown control mechanism as well. So that is basically it now. Everything in the Academy as today, we have finished. So everything that I had planned, all the 101, all those 20 lessons there, those 3 in there, those 6 in there, these 12 for the Bootcamp, all done. So the whole lot is available to watch on replay if you want to join up and watch the lot. It's all there now. It will be after 9 o'clock this morning, which was when we're doing that lesson. So that's what we got covered today. And then obviously with the rest of this week, Wednesday, we're going to have a look at the gold scalping strategy that I developed an EA for somebody for. Which is very similar to the opening range breakout, but it's specifically designed for gold and it uses a tiered take profit mechanism. So we're going to cover that on Wednesday. Wednesday, New York session as normal. Friday, not quite sure what we're going to do on Friday yet. and then off we go from there. So lots of new topics we'll be covering in that over the next couple of weeks. Right, there we go. So that's all the news covered. So yeah, no trades on the DAX. So this is really dead today, isn't it? So the 10-minute range and the 15-minute range looks like is going to go in at the same size. So there is an argument for taking a 15-minute range break. But with the volume we've got here today, it could be one of those sessions where we just sit around and do absolutely nothing. As I say, we've got no real news catalysts this morning for movement on anything, really. We had such a big day on Friday. The market is reeling a little bit from this big move that we've had. We had two down days on the DAX, 150 ADR plus in a row. This thing absolutely melted off for 48 hours. So I think the market's possibly in a little bit of shock here and looking for maybe some indication of some bullish price action, but nobody's willing to put anything in today, are they, so far? So not getting anywhere. So if this one, if you are trading sort of the 15% average daily range that I use as the range minimum maximums, or minimum in this case, the 30-minute range is really all you're going to get today. If this moves, if this stays inside bar for the next sort of 15 minutes, it's just not going to be traded today. So nothing you can do with it, is there? It's absolutely dead. Right, let's have a look at the FX pairs. So I might have a whiz through them all this morning if we've got time. Yeah, it's 1:15. So we're going off to do the members stream at 9 o'clock this morning. So I'll be finishing at 8:45 on this stream. So we can whiz through and have a look at where we are with FX and everything, because there's nothing specific to look at today. So there might be some decent support resistance areas coming up. And obviously we've got a lot of news this week, which is going to move the market. But it's all, as I say, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we've got a gap situation on the NASDAQ at the moment to the downside as well. So we have gapped up slightly. So we could gap and run and then come back later this week and do that. Or they might try and do that straight away today. We'll have to wait and see. Gaps get filled very, very quickly, usually within the day. Yeah, got an orphan gap up there as well. Shows you how hard this thing sold off in the last couple of weeks, isn't it? Anyway, let's have a look through the FX pairs. Oh, and oil I wanted to quickly look at as well. So oil, this $60 a barrel is not going anywhere at the moment. So this is where I was kind of looking at buys. Down when we get down below $60 a barrel, it's usually advantageous to look for buys. The market doesn't like sustaining $60 a barrel. It's not where it wants to be, basically. So they tend to want to stay above this area because it's not as economical to produce and make profit from oil below $60 a barrel. So I mean, obviously they still do, but when you start getting down below the 55 level, it's like they tend to drop outputs down, which obviously increases the cost because obviously there's less supply, the same demand, therefore prices go up. So we're still in this area at the moment, which looks like we should be trying to buy, but there's very little. We had a little pop last week. There's very little opportunity for any movement on this at the moment, but it does look like it wants to go up from here at some point. So this big pushback we had at the end of last week is pushed straight into this propulsion gap, which is bouncing at the moment. So we have gapped up ever so slightly on Friday. So that looks like, to me, a nice little long area. You've got that support on the monthly and then this previous support here, which is the $55 propulsion gap. So there's good support on this as well. If it doesn't play out this week, going into next week and moving forward, there's good potential for that to start to pop. You can see where we've come from. So there's loads of upside on it. Looking at this over the weekend, because we're just coming down so slow. And when we got down below this 60 level, I was looking for opportunities. I missed this. Beautiful little 3-bar reversal went in there. Didn't take it, didn't see it, but yeah, it looks like it's good for longs at the moment. Right, FX wise, let's go through everything. So Aussies, see what we've got coming up. News. So we've got CAD, nothing much on the Aussies. Pound CPI Wednesday and retail Friday. So stuck sideways at the moment, Aussie CAD. Let's just go down to 4 hours. We can see it a bit clearer. So we're just stuck sideways at the moment. As this is stuck sideways, assume it's going to stay stuck sideways. We've got CPI for the CAD this afternoon. So that negative drop on the CPI obviously will push. If it's bullish, we'll be going down there. So obvious spots to start looking for entries is that propulsion gap to the downside and our 2-week upside resistance. Oh, sorry, that's a 3-week upside resistance. And then we've got that double monthly at the highs there. So this is basically where you're looking for shorts there at the moment and longs down here. So we're stuck in the middle of nowhere at the moment, nothing to do. Aussie Swiss, pretty much the same. We are kind of just breaking down below this range low again. So it was a good long on Friday, and that is starting to play out, but you are coming into this propulsion move. So the reversal alert and retest and market structure going short now, potentially down into there. We are obviously bearish on this at the moment, but this Swiss franc, no reason why this should be strong really at the minute. So yeah, we are in fear mode, which obviously does make the Swissy strong, but if that stock market does start to go bear, that will power up that Swiss. So we will continue to come down. So it's a good looking little long at the minute. However, we are bearish. So it's a bit of a tricky one. So entry last Friday down here, and you'll be in that long at the moment and in profit on it. But potentially, I think we could probably come down and test this low again. So difficult one again with the Swiss. I don't know which way that's going to go at the moment. Enjoying stuff on the chart. We were doing a training. Aussie dollar yen. So all the yen pairs at the moment, I'll go through all the yen pairs in one batch, basically. They are all at the moment really bearish. We have had a reversal alert on Aussie dollar yen on last week, basically, which is just retesting at the moment. But if you look at all these yen pairs, they are all really, really, really weak at the moment. We've got all these gaps which haven't got filled on the majority of the yen pairs at the moment to the downside, which is where we obviously had the change of leadership and stuff going on. But yeah, all massively bearish at the moment. Swiss obviously running because it's been bullish, pumping into the Swiss because they were doing the deal with the US, which obviously the banks knew about. We didn't. Sorry, that's not a yen pair. Yeah, so Swiss has been pushing harder than everything else, obviously, at the moment. Euro up in the highs. The question is, are we ever going to get that gap fill done? So potentially, I think what this one is going to do is attempt to do that gap fill at some point, but we're going to need some catalyst on the yen to really drive that yen at the moment, and we're not getting it. They came out last week and said that they're going to increase interest rates, which means bullishness for the yen. What we got last week was a bear week again. So it doesn't seem to matter what the Japanese say at the moment. They can't rally the market behind the yen. So we are struggling. So at the moment, I have got some yen exposure on. Short, not a lot. Short as in long the yen. But at the minute, they're all kind of just grinding up still. So we're waiting for that news to come out about the interest rates. We did get that last week, but no follow through on it at the moment. So all the yen pairs are looking good. There's been multiple short opportunities on it, but they just haven't managed to stick. So I don't think at the moment it really matters which way you trade the yens. I would be more interested in how much it's going to cost me to trade it at the minute. And unfortunately, the swaps are still getting high again on those shorts. So that's my preferred direction at the minute, but not really getting any follow through. So pretty much any reversal alert you get on this on any time frame and any RSI extension you get, you're going to be probably okay on it because it isn't parabolic trending like it used to. If we go back and look at what the yen used to do. Yeah. We used to just, be flying all the time. As you can see, we've really contracted now, and we're kind of just, if we are bullish, we're doing this, and if we're bearish, we're doing this. Yeah, so none of this parabolic stuff. So pretty much the yen pairs at the moment, with the economics, with what they're doing with interest rates, you can pretty much do what you like. Trade it in both directions. So any RSI extensions on that at the moment look good for me. Aussies have covered. So, no, hang on, Aussie New Zealand. So Aussie New Zealand coming down nicely. So shorts on this one. If anybody was short on it, you got your relief on Thursday, Friday, although it was a hell of a push. 225 ADR basically on Thursday, and then we came slamming back down again. So this potentially, like it was there, is the start of that bear move. So we've got the exhaustion here, which we didn't really get here. We did a little bit, but that is properly exhausted. And then the thing I like about this at the moment is we had that symmetrical triangle contraction. So we had a 2 inside bar set up with a failed upside rejection. So looking like that is probably going to start to come down now. Not a lot of news catalysts this week. We got monetary policy. We kind of know that. You got your wage price index, but other than that, you got no catalysts for the Aussie or New Zealand. So that can go either way. But it can go either way, obviously, because we got no news catalyst to drive it in any particular direction. But I think that is what you're looking at. Well, I think we're going to come down and test that 72 now. We are exhausted. We haven't been there for absolutely ages. So you're looking at July. Was the first time we were down there. We literally have been hugging that 24 moving average. So worst case scenario is a bounce off the 24 moving average again, isn't it? But I can't see it. I think they are going to want to undo this. So watch this area here. The downside on that one. Aussie US, again, anything you've traded the US dollar at the moment, it's just what the hell's going to happen when all these figures come out. So this week, I get the feeling we might be a bit cool on the dollar until we get to Wednesday, Thursday, and then I think we're probably going to take off. So we haven't had any data from the US for weeks and weeks and weeks. So not meaningful data. So we're going to get lumped with loads of it in one go, which means a large move potentially. So which way though? No idea. We know the dollar isn't good at the moment. The dollar's bearish. So you would kind of want to be looking for longs against the dollar at the minute. But those numbers, if they just get a flurry of positive numbers, we will see a very big, strong move on the dollar. So it's absolutely anybody's guess at the moment what we're going to do with that. So I'm kind of, anything I'm in at the moment on the dollar, I'm in, that's fine. But it'll be kind of looking to take it off Wednesday, ahead of the news, basically, and see what the news does. So just giving all that data time to settle in at the banks. So the analysts will be going crazy on Thursday and Friday, just recalculating basically all the scorecards to see whether or not we should be bullish or bearish on the dollar long term. So we don't know what's going to happen. There may be indications on Wednesday as to what's happening with interest rates. Yeah, so we're forecasting another drop this year. We may not get it. So they may be a little bit bearish about that, and obviously then the dollar will come down. Then if we get negative news off the back of that, we'll see a big drop in the dollar. So it's really impossible to forecast anything ahead of news like this, especially after having a drought for 6-7 weeks. So this could go either way. Bang in the middle at the moment. Nothing you can do with it. Contracting, waiting for the expansion in one way or the other. CAD Swiss, not really doing much either. So be looking for longs down here. We had Friday, you had longs on this one, which are playing out nicely. So nice little W pattern down there. We had an entry there on Thursday, so you may well be in it and then scaled in, looking for an exit on a retest of the weekly low up there. We've done the yens. So all the euros at the moment, euro freakishly, weirdly strong at the moment. for some reason, against the Australian dollar, which is also massively strong, or has been massively strong. Obviously, we just get a range. So this is contracting down at the moment. The last sort of couple of weeks, we haven't really done anything. So I'll be looking for buys back down here again, but just being led by the RSI, wait for this to actually go somewhere. If it goes somewhere, we can trade it. If it doesn't go anywhere, your guess is as good as mine at the moment. There's nothing bullish or bearish about the euro at the moment. They have hit their interest rate targets. They have hit their inflation targets. They are exactly where they want to be. There is no reason to put up interest rates. There is no reason to drop interest rates. Everything is going perfectly. Therefore, it's neutral. Yeah. So what will happen with all euro pairs is whatever the cross does, that's what's going to happen to it. So if all of a sudden we get a massive bull move in the CAD, that happens. If we get a massive bear move in the CAD, that happens. But it's not because the euro is strong or weak. It's because the cross is moving it. So all these at the moment, just wait for signals to get in after it's actually got moved somewhere, because at the minute it's not going to go anywhere. You can see this has gone nowhere now for sort of 6-7 weeks. Sideways, can't do much with it. But play the highs, play the lows, assume we're going to stay in a range until the market proves you otherwise. Look at the propulsion gaps to the upside. We'll be coming up there to test that. We'll be coming back down here to retest this again. So if we get down here, be long in it. If we get up there, be short in it. Euro Swiss. So the Swiss franc obviously has had this big bull run. I think this is probably over end of last week. So you got a nice bullish divergence gone in there. So I'd be much more interested in looking for longs on this week on weak Swiss franc. So we have got Swiss news in the form of talking head. Yeah, we've got Schlegel speaking on Friday, but other than that, there's no other Swiss news. Obviously, we don't really get any news out of the Swiss. So yeah, I'll be looking more for longs on this, and whatever this move was, this was the deal that the Swiss did with the US. So the market knew about this Swiss deal. We got it announced to us on Friday. Yeah, so I think easily profit take on that, but then I know they'll be analysing that information and deciding whether or not they want to be bullish or bearish on the Swiss. But it is just a trade deal, and it's just been agreed at 15%, which is the same as Euro's got. So it's not actually that groundbreaking, which is potentially why I think we'll probably undo that, what we did last week. I used Friday to remove 4 of my Aussie New Zealand positions for break even. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, perfect drawdown control. That's what you want to be doing there. Waited to be able to do something similar on the Swiss yen and New Zealand US now. Got caught in 2 New Zealand squeezes. Yeah, only trade 2 in the same direction. Yeah, so basically just be careful with your exposure, obviously, because when something like the Aussie squeezes, obviously, if you're in 2 Aussies, you're going to get squeezed twice. So never try not to get more exposed than 2 at any time. Max. So euro pound sideways at the moment. So the pound, again, bit of an anomaly, this pound. It's all over the place at the moment. We've had news coming last week. We're expecting tax rises. Then they're not doing tax rises. We've got the budget next week for the pound. Is it next week? Check Forex Factory for that one, because I need to look at next week's news. So next Wednesday, we've got the budget. So there's 2 things that happen ahead of a big news event like a budget. One is we go nowhere. So we basically do this with pound, basically, because nobody's interested in deciding on big investments in the pound until they know what the budget is going to do, because that can be massively detrimental or positive for the currency. Or the second thing is they forecast what is going to be in that budget or know what is going to be in that budget. They move the market before the budget comes out. Yeah. So we get a move come in, which then tends to be undone on the budget. So watch the pound this week. If the pound suddenly starts taking off today, tomorrow, or Wednesday, that is likely because they know what's coming. Therefore, that will likely continue. Look at the Swiss. Yeah. The banks and institutions knew that the Swiss was going to do a deal with the US. Yeah. They knew about it on Monday. We found out about it there. Yeah. So if they know what's coming out in the budget, look at that sort of movement, or opposite, obviously, depending which way it goes, on the pound pairs this week. So if it does take off, you're looking for pullback entries. But at the moment, obviously, could go anywhere. You had short signals on this all last week, and it has obviously started to move down now, but nothing particularly dramatic. The euro and the pound move together a lot of the time. We're big, close trade partners. So you tend to get the majority of euro pound is sideways movement. This is why the ADR is so low. It's 37. It hardly ever moves. So we will get some movement, though, if that budget brings something of interest. So we'll have to wait and see. But that could start to move. All the pound pairs could start to move this week. Euro New Zealand, again, weakness in the New Zealand dollar. This is probably going to start to unravel. So we had a lovely signal for shorts going in a week and a bit ago. It just didn't really get anywhere last week, did it? So I think probably continuing back down and then maybe continuing back up again. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But weakness in the New Zealand dollar, a little bit of strength coming through at the moment, mainly because the Aussie dollar has been dropping. So I think that could be on the cards. Either that or we're going to come back down and test these. But again, just wait for it to go somewhere. If it's not going anywhere, don't do anything. Euro US dollar sideways. Shorts on this one. Strength in the dollar ever so slightly. No idea where it's going. Kind of not really interested in doing a lot on this week until we got this news out. That was a short opportunity last week. You had the similar one there on the week before. Again, didn't really do anything, pushed up. So you've been scaled into 2, maybe 3 shorts. You're back in profit on it. It's one of those things at the moment. I think you've just got to try and get yourself flat by Wednesday, Thursday, and then wait. So all these pounds, again, next week, watch it this week. We could have one of these weeks this week, where we just suddenly take off in one direction. If it does take off early this week, I would just try and go in that direction if you can find entries. For mean reversion trades on it, obviously scaling into it and it will undo itself at some point, but we've got news coming up, big news budget-wise. So all of these basically are reset at the moment. We're sitting in the middle on all the pound pairs. That one's just sort of playing out at the moment from that nice bullish divergence. So looking up here. But yeah, all these pound pairs, again, no idea until the market sort of makes a decision as to what we're doing next week. As I said, there's 2 options. Ahead of the budget, if they're not sure, they'll do that. If they are sure, they'll do one of those. So just watch it for clues as to taking off somewhere. Start looking at ranges is a good thing to do on these. So treat these as sort of range breakouts. If you get this sort of sit around like this, probably better look on an hourly chart, not 4 hourly. Yeah, if you get it sitting around and just sort of flip-flopping around for a day, yeah, if it is going to go anywhere, that's what it's going to do. And it will just suddenly take off. It will just go. Yeah, they will just go, right, do it. And they'll go off on the pound in one direction or the other. That's the breakout. That's your trade. So just watch for what it does this week. All of these pound pairs. At the moment, we're just sitting down, rejecting this level. If we sit up there and we come back down in New York, there's your range and wait for that break. But it could just do that all week. Yeah. So breakout trades, obviously, when the market doesn't move, don't work. Speaking of breakout trades, there's a 6-bar range in. So no entries today yet. So 30-minute TPO range. Looks like we're going to trigger long. And if we are going to trigger long, that is your high from Friday. That's partial target. Not going anywhere, are we? Yeah, so all the pound pairs. Pound US, obviously, completely sideways at the moment. Stuck in the middle of nowhere. Again, same thing for this one. Of all the pairs this week, this is the one, obviously, which is getting 99% of the news. So this could go absolutely anywhere this week. Right now, we're obviously bearish pound against the dollar. I would like to see it back up here for shorts. So come up and retest that propulsion gap. That low there, which is this propulsion gap. So this whole area at 150 to 200 ADR to the upside that would be a nice little short area, assuming we're going to continue in that direction. Again, are we getting positive news or negative news on the dollar? Are they going to do something with the budget this next week? I'll have to wait and see. So New Zealand dollar CAD, sideways, not doing anything, nothing much you can do with that. It's shorts at the moment, out of propulsion gap. So yeah, market is obviously bearish on this at the moment. You had long opportunities from there. You had long opportunities from there as well. But last week, literally nothing you can do with it. It's not doing anything at all. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, same thing. It's the same pair. New Zealand CAD, New Zealand US, pretty much the same thing. They not really doing anything at the moment. It's just all a bit dead. New Zealand. New Zealand's been obviously very, very weak, but has strengthened up off the back of that Australian dollar drop. So this is that strength that you saw, but we've had strength coming to the US as well. So it's just not going anywhere. Again, there's just no reason to do anything with this. If it's just doing this, just ignore it. Nothing much you can do. And US dollar, again, no idea. I can guarantee we'll either hit that or we'll hit that by Friday. Take your pick. Long or short, one of those two things is going to happen by the end of this week. But, you know, you can't forecast it at the moment. US dollar Swiss, this one would almost, look at it, it's just absolutely beautiful off of that weekly low. We've got that higher high gone in there as well. We've had that strength in the Swiss franc off of the US dollar Swiss deal. Who came out better on that? The dollar. So the Americans came out better on that deal. Therefore, likelihood is it's going to go up, isn't it? So this move that we got started on Friday, we got that reversal alert on Friday. Look, the market structure shifted back to the upside there. We had that propulsion gap. If we come back into there today, that would be my long on it. So that nice W pattern, market structure reversal. So there's your entries from, you've had multiple opportunities to get into this last week. Yeah, so that Swiss franc just did not stop powering up, did it? Off the back of that news. So you would be in one, probably 4 maybe on that. Coming back to break even now. So, but I think there's a good chance that we're going to carry on with these higher lows and higher highs. Market structure is bullish. So yeah, we'll see. But again, this week, news, crazy news. So, you know, if it's all red numbers for the US, it doesn't matter what this wants to do. It would do what they want to do with it, which is basically make money. So if they need to drop it, they will drop it. So there we go. And then there's your DAX longer term. Your Dow, obviously, we had that huge sell-off. So the market's really sold off on Friday, Thursday last week. Big style. So is it the start of a bear market? Probably going to find out this week, I reckon. As soon as we get all that news from the dollar, you know, and if that dollar news does actually come out bearish, that might help the markets a little bit. But if we get a load of bullish news on the dollar, and don't forget, we've got so many weeks of data that they can manipulate into looking good, looking bad. So, you know, there's ways and means they can make things, they can spin things to look better than they are. But beautiful buy opportunity there. In fact, I'm in long. I'm on this at the moment, long, but not confident with it at the minute. We will see. No breakout today. What a load of rubbish, eh? Just not moving. Can't do anything with this DAX. So, depending where we break today, the targets, which are the 2R targets on the range, that's lovely big propulsion move. So if we're going to break down, that is your target to the downside for support. Upside resistance, you've got this little bit here, and then Friday's high. So that is achievable, but you have got a bit of a roadblock in the way there. Yeah, so this previous support term resistance, we accumulated around that area before we dropped, so that we know is full of sellers. We've got to get through that to get up to the highs there. So upside breaks today, I'd probably be less confident of. than downside breaks, but we'll wait and see. As you can see, you know, for the last 2 days on the DAX, we have done nothing but sell off. Yes, nothing but sell off. So those are your opens. Today, totally the opposite, isn't it? Absolutely no parabolic movement whatsoever. And the other thing about these last two breaks, there's the sort of 5-minute ranges that went in, and you can see it does have this little sort of stall about it at the opens at the moment. Friday was actually quite quick, but this is just kind of waiting for that to happen, isn't it? So, but we'll see where we go. Anybody got anything else I want to look at in detail? We'll be doing the member streams in 20 minutes. And then we're done on the bootcamp. So there's quite a few videos I've got out there on aggressive drawdown control. So today's lessons, if you have watched those videos, it's not going to be massively different to what you already know. It's just more in reinforcing what we know about aggressive drawdown control from a position trading perspective. Right. Dull. Nothing much we can do with that. Right, so I think I'll leave it there today. There's very little movement so far today on anything, is there? So I think today is a case of just waiting and watching and seeing what happens. FX markets are absolutely dead this morning as well. Look, absolute flat lines everywhere. So I think we're just waiting for something to happen, really. Market's in a little bit of Monday morning can't be bothered mode, isn't it? Even the Asian sessions today just dead. So very little movement. Sit around, do nothing, go make cups of coffee. With your ORB, where do you have your stops? 15% of ADR. Morning, ladies. Yeah, stops are 15% of ADR. There. So whatever, basically with the ORB strategy, the kind of rule of thumb is your stop loss is whatever your minimum range is. Yeah, that way you will never get hedged. Simple as that. So what we're saying is we want a clean break. Yeah, if we don't get a clean break, I want to be out of that long before the short triggers and vice versa. Yeah, so if you set this equal to that, it won't get you a trade where you haven't got your stop loss either. I mean, it had if the initial range was exactly 0.15 of ADR, your stop loss would be on top of your long or short in the opposite direction. But normally, obviously, the range is bigger than that because it's unlikely. You know, the chances of it hitting that are 1 in 100, obviously. So yeah, it's always inside. If you place your stop loss at a larger multiple than the range, you could have your stops outside the range, which basically will hedge you, obviously, potentially. Not for long, because obviously it will take off one way or the other at some point, but that's tight for a stop, no? 15% of the average daily range. Not tight, is it? 15% of ADR. Where would you put it? Do some testing. I don't know. You're asking me. This is what I've done for decades. This is what I do. I don't know. Do what you like. Put it wherever you want it. Do some testing. See what you think. I have absolutely no idea where to put stop loss. If I knew where to put the stop loss, I would put the stop loss there. Because if I had a time machine, I'd know exactly what to do. Right now, today, no one on the planet right now today knows where to put a stop loss, where to put an entry, or where to get out of a trade, because it hasn't happened. So you use mathematical equations to create edges in the market. That's all trading is. Trading is maths. Yeah. So if I am using a 15% minimum average daily range, my stop loss mathematically to stop myself being hedged has to be lower than 15% of the average daily range. I could put it at 5%, but if I go long here and my stop loss is here, that's going to get tight. That's too tight, isn't it? Yeah, this is the widest stop I could possibly have on that range, bar putting it outside of the range and becoming hedged. But do your own testing. I don't know what's best to use. Like I said, I've done 50,000 permutation tests on the ORB strategy, probably more than that. If you count all the symbols I've done testing on. But I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of permutations that all produce profit. And whether you use a 0.15, a 0.1, a 0.13, they all work. So pick one. I don't know which is the best to use. I can give you plenty of examples of me getting it 100% wrong. Loads of them. There you go. There's a lovely example of if I'd have known, I wouldn't have done. Yeah. Took a short. Stop loss was there. Could it have actually stopped me out any closer? No, it just came straight to it. What I should have done that day is put the stop loss here, because that candle wouldn't have triggered it and I wouldn't have taken a loss. But I did. Maths. That's all it is. If you're good with the calculator, you can do the job. Aggressive drawdown control. Are you using a formula for lot size? Yes. It is a percentage. We will cover it in 10 minutes. Right, I'll leave you there today. I'll be back on Wednesday afternoon for the next live stream on YouTube, which is obviously just trading the NASDAQ, the DAX, and the Dow. No, NASDAQ, gold, and the Dow. Actually, I didn't look at gold today. Oh, I'm short on gold. There we go. 6-bar range on gold was good today. So short gold. Didn't even see that go in. I wasn't expecting any movement on gold, but gold is actually moving. Look. So short gold. Yeah, so nice, decent sized range there today on gold. So short on that. Long US dollar. So yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday. Obviously trade the US indices. Wednesday morning, obviously, is the next member stream. That's when we're going to cover that gold strategy. So if you're interested in trading gold, we are doing a strategy on a Wednesday morning. So just going to go through this gold scalping strategy, which is basically a variation on ORB, but a different, it's a 1 minute one. So it's basically 1 minute chart scalping. Make of that what you will. But anyway, so we'll cover that on Wednesday, but 9 o'clock in 10 minutes time. Members, I will see you for aggressive drawdown control. If you need anything else, I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Other than that, have a good one and I'll see you next time.
Click, clack, charts attack, candlesticks, they spark the track. Leave move silent, market crack, profit stack, no turning back. Opening range, that's the game. Breakout hits, never the same. Algorithms play, but he rewires the frame. Banks whisper his name. Flipping forex, indices flex, numbers dance. What's coming next? Green lights flash, P&L stretch. Risk managed, he never sweats. Westpac buzz and traders peep. Lessons deep, no time to sleep. Market's a beast, Lee's got the leash. Feast at the feast, his game's elite. Market structures is domain. Leads the king, they know his name. Breakout sharp, he fuels the flame. Trading charts is not a game. Pip by pip, he stacking high. Mean reversion, banks comply. Leads the reason markets run. Leads the reason markets run. Wicks on fire, spread so tight the stakes get higher. Institutional flow, he's the supplier. Positions held till charts retire. Data feeds, news he reads. Fibonacci maps to seeds. Supply demand his mind exceeds. Trades ignite like lightning speed. Stop loss tight, take profit wide. Least precision, unmatched drive. Liquidity pools, banks coincide. Retail's blind, leads the guide. Charts unfold, the stories told. Entry bold, accounts in gold. Trade by trade, the wins are sold. Market alchemy, legends mode. Whoa, 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 whoa. Lead the reason markets run. Lead the reason markets run. Lead the reason markets run.
Lee wakes at dawn to a glowing screen. Charts and candles, the digital sheen. Open in range, weapon so keen. He's the structured trader, a market machine.